So we are live with another expert interview show, and today's we have a guest that is, one of the biggest problem that we face in our daily lives. That is a time management skill, right? And today we have special guest for that. He's a business coach, and he's scaled multiple businesses into seven figures, and he created a framework that will help you to manage your business with predictability. And what are the biggest challenge that face every entrepreneur, that is managing the times. So let's welcome uh, Paul to our show. And hi, Paul, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So thank you so much for joining our show, and our all the people are excited. So all the people watching, please put hashtag live if you're watching live. If you put hashtag replay if you're watching replays, and yeah, be ready with the guys, and we'll have some special bonuses at the end. And so let's get started. Paul, so everybody is excited to know about you, and please tell us about yourself and a little bit about backstory. And yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely. So I was an ambitious entrepreneur, like many of you watching, not long ago. Still am, but I started out. I was in I was going to school for psychology. I was doing just like the regular, like what everybody else was told me I was supposed to be doing. And there came this moment where I realized I wanted so much more than what the 9 to 5 was offering me. Like it's the cliche entrepreneur story, right? I
Yeah.
realized there's so much more available to me, and I wanted it so badly. And so I actually started out doing content creation for businesses. I was doing videography, photography, and I quit my job, and I was like, I'm going to go all in. I had my wife and my child, and I was like, I'm going to make this work, right? And much like most of you, I think when you make that leap, you realize, wow, I don't have anything figured out. And the trial by fire is, I think, what a lot of people call it. And so I entered into this world totally bereft of any direction or capacity to actually accomplish what I want to accomplish. And my biggest problem, like most of you, was I would sit down at my computer and I'd say, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make some money. And then 2 hours later, I find myself on YouTube trying to figure out how to connect my sexy new URL to my email, or how to edit some minor thing in Adobe Premiere, and just totally wasting the vast majority of my day, right?
Yes.
And so I just told myself, freak Paul, you got to get this figured out. And years later, we're here. I'm working with some really just incredible entrepreneurs, a lot of my peers, and teaching business owners how to manage their time so that they can predictably produce the results that they say that they want, and step into the identity of the person that they say that they want to be. And it's really just a fantastic. I'm just super blessed to be working with these people, and in the capacity, particularly that I'm working with them in. It's really just super fun.
That's awesome. I got to know that you scaled multiple seven-figure businesses,
Mhm.
also founded that. No, so how did you come up with the idea of time management? So what is the one thing that you think that this is the one thing you can help people, if they help business
Yeah.
owners?
Yeah, totally. So I during this like long period of freelancing and helping businesses, I got really good at marketing, and I was helping businesses with marketing, and I actually brought on some coaching clients to help them scale their business like I had. And in working with them, I started realizing, and this is really the big secret for, I think, for most people, is that these business owners actually knew what to do. They had taken enough classes, they'd read enough books, they'd gone to enough events, they'd joined enough masterminds. They knew the right answers, but they just weren't doing it. and and they weren't doing it effectively if they were doing it right. And so I recognized, like, as I was coaching them, I was like, I'm actually, most of what I'm doing is not helping them with marketing. Like, they already have those answers inside of them. What I'm actually helping them do is manage their decision making and their identity, and therefore their time. Like, that's like, all of you watching, you are more than capable of producing the life that you want to produce, of building the business that you want to build, of having the relationships that you want to have. The problem is that you're not actually acting on the things that you already know.
Exactly.
And it's like, it's really like, it's so like, just like frustrating, for lack of a better term, but it's also so hopeful too, because like, you're smart enough, you're capable of doing it. And if you don't have the actual skill sets and you don't have the actual knowledge set yet, it's literally a Google search away, or like a $10 book. Like, it's not, the answers are there and you're capable of getting them. And so I decided, I was like, you know what, how I can actually serve these entrepreneurs best is I can help them get like ruthlessly clear on a very systematic approach to managing their decision making, and therefore producing the results they want to be producing in their life. So that's like the aha moment for me. Was like, I had figured it out for myself, but I was looking at these people and I was like, you're pretty capable. Like, you should probably figure this out too. But I realized that actually, like, a lot of them hadn't. And the things that I thought that I was teaching them, they already knew. So I was like, well, let me help them the best way that I know how, and that's actually through time management.
That's how your mess become your message.
Mhm.
You can say, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, even I honestly, I am speaking, I'm getting stuck with sometime, like, how I have so many things to do in a one single day, right? But
yeah.
I don't know how to execute all the tasks, and sometimes there are so many tasks left behind, right?
Mhm.
So
Totally.
can you tell us, like, what are the top levels entrepreneurs hacks they use to manage all the tasks? Because we are just starting out, right? But the entrepreneurs have their big team, big business, like millions of business. Like, how do they manage all their tasks? Like,
Yeah.
what is their hacks?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not, I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's not necessarily a hack. The thing is, it's just decision making. It's actually focusing on one specific thing at a time, and then sequencing that out. Because, well, I'm going to do my best to not describe the whole system, because it's not
Oh,
possible in this interview. But very broad level, we have to get extremely clear on, who am I? Like, what is my identity? And when I act out that identity, what would it produce 5 years from now? Or even 10 years from now? It's kind of, we don't have to get super specific about the exact time frame, because it's just like, out there in the future, what does it look like? And then we start reverse engineering it back to today. And because there's so many things coming in all the time, especially for entrepreneurs, there's like, I mean, the phrase that I say a lot to my clients is, your lawn is competing with landing a client. It's like, we have like kids that need attending to, we have lawns that need mowing, we have bills that need paying, there's so many things coming in, let alone, okay, like, I have a client that needs this, and I have this product that needs to be produced, and I have this marketing sequence that needs to be rolled out, right? There's so many things coming in that we need to get extremely clear about decluttering our head and putting it into a system that can give us confidence that we will get to those things, right? Because your mind, it's really, really good at reminding you. It's really good at saying, hey, remember that one thing? Oh, like, I know that you're working on this, but there's really this other thing, right? And so we're not capable of being as productive as we could be, because we're constantly being pulled in like 20 different directions, right? And so you're actually working on the thing that's right in front of you really slowly, because your mind's constantly shifting focuses all the time. But instead, if we can get it really clear on a system that says, like, okay, I know that if I do X, Y, and Z in this sequence, that 5-year thing that I mapped out is going to happen, then we can confidently say, when the lawn pops up in your head, no worries. I've got that covered on this specific day at this specific time. Or it's in my tasks list. And once I get through these next 5 things, it's the next in line. So you can calm your mind and say, I don't need to worry about that. Remember, I already put a stake in the ground that's going to remind me to come back to that. So instead, it's a one thing at a time. It's a one thing at a time. And if you have a system in place to accomplish that and to tell you what's the next step, then like you're going to be 10 times more productive. One of my clients actually just recently, he's still working a 9-to-5 job while he's launching his real estate company, and he's crushing it. And he just had a new child, and he has another daughter, right? And so while he's building on his property, like he has so many things going on. But he just messaged me the other day. This was the best. This is like what I live for. He was like, Paul, I'm having a hard time because I finished everything on my to-do list. What do I do when I have nothing left to do? And I was like, that's what we're dreaming for. You do nothing. Like
That's a dream. Like that is a dream come true. Like for an entrepreneurs to like doing all the tasks, whatever
yeah.
you make the to-do list. Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with mindset and identity work that we've already done, so that he's not like, well, what's the next thing? Like, what's the next prize to run after? And we've gotten him to a place where he's like, oh, I don't need a next thing, right? But it's like, I know that I've accomplished everything that I need to do in my task list to accomplish my 5-year plan. So I don't need to be adding anything to this, right? And I think that that's a big trap that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs, because we're visionaries and we're like, oh, I could do this, right? But something else that I tell my clients is you don't strategize during execution periods. Because a lot of people, the reason why we have 50 different things to do is because we're like, oh, well, I could prove it this way and I could do it this way. And this one guru said this, but it's like, once you have a strategy in place, you don't re-strategize until the specific time that you've set aside to think about strategy, right?
Yeah.
And if things are coming into your mind that it's like, well, I could do this, and it's like, it won't go away, you put it down in a task list to respond back to during your strategy periods, right? So there's very specific times to think about very specific things, and all you're focusing on is what's next, right?
Yeah. So do you have, Paul, so do you have any specific framework on system that you follow to manage all the tasks, or just written down on the pen paper that this is the to-do list I wanted to do,
Oh,
or
like what
any,
tools?
sorry?
Like what tools do I use?
Yeah, yeah. What tools do you use? Do you have any
Yeah,
tools?
well, the thing is, it's less about the tools. There's like 100 different tools that would work perfectly. I personally, I'm an iOS guy. Like I like my Mac stuff. So I use their reminders app. I use my calendar app, and I use their notes app as well. But like Android has the same thing. Google has the same, like there's hundreds of different tools that could accomplish the same strategy. So again, it's less about the tools. I mean, like I use like Calendly and stuff like that. But it's less about the tools, and it's more about the way that you use those tools, because those tools are robust. Like the Apple's like reminders app. I mean, you can set reminders so that when you arrive at a certain place, it tells you, it's like, hey, remember this. Or when I'm emailing a specific person, right? Like there's a lot of like capacity in that pretty simple app. I know like there's a lot of people that swear by Evernote. I personally, for me, it just like didn't jive, and that's fine. But I have clients that use things like Evernote. But it's more about the functionality that you need to really get to this place is you need a calendar, you need a task list, and you need a notes app that like you can just get out of your head, or like even like, but you could even do that paper based too. Like you could have a paper planner, you could have a piece of paper that has a task list on it, right? Like it's less about the tools and it's more about the strategies and focusing on decision making.
That's cool. That's cool. And many people who are into this time management gurus, or the people who are experts, they say that you should follow the time blocks. So do you also follow that? Blocking out the
Um,
time?
yeah. So we use a combination of different strategies. I use time blocking, and there's different like I'm trying not to like get too detailed because it's not
Oh,
it won't be helpful. But yeah, like time blocking is a really effective strategy for categorizing tasks, or in and the better way to look at it is categorizing decisions that need to be made at specific times. So I do use a form of time blocking, but it's tweaked a little bit. Again, it's more about decision management and less about time management. That was like the
okay.
big realization that really like has the big realization that a lot of my clients need to go through is we're not trying to manage your time because one, you can't manage time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're
Even if, yeah, even if I block my time, but at a time, what happens, let's suppose I block my time to some one specific task from 9 to 11, but sometimes it goes beyond that, right? So at
not,
that point of time, I have to use my strategy, my decision making skills to think that, okay, should I do this work or not, right? So that
right,
is what you are talking about. Yeah,
right.
perfect. Now, I would ask you, you always use that word that is predictability. So how this represents your time management skills?
So how did I hone my time management skills? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you use the word called predictability, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the thing is, okay. So I had this moment where like it finally clicked for me.
Okay.
um, my I had just quit my job. I kind of like gave you a teaser of that before. I just quit my job. I was like, I'm going to do this freelance thing. And then I recognized, like, holy cow, I have never been taught by anybody how to actually manage my time. You know, we go through like, in America, we go through like a kindergarten, first grade up to 12th grade. And then from there, we go on to college. And then after college, there's this weird moment where society is just like, okay, figure out how to manage your time. And we're like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, like, and even then, a lot of people they're like they go straight into a 9 to 5 job, and they're told by their managers exactly what to do and when to do it. But from 5 years old, and even before that with parents, we're told exactly where to be, exactly what to do, exactly how to do it, and we never are taught how to actually make decisions and produce results. It's just like, here's a test, fill in the bubbles, go. And then in college, it's like, okay, write this essay, go. And then in 9 to 5, it's like, run this report, go. Right. So like we're like shoved into this machine where it's just like, do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. And we've never been taught, okay, well, what do you think you should do? And if we are, it's like we're just like thrown to the wolves. Right. And so I so I'm kind of in this moment where I'm thrown to the wolves, and I'm like, holy cow, I've never learned how to make a decision. and and so I was like anxious and desperate to get control, to get predictable in my life, and to be able to produce predictable results. And so I go to my wife and I'm like, hey, we've got to manage our time. We've got to figure out how to like plan. And so we like try, right? We're like, we're gonna get out a calendar and put stuff in our calendar. and like I even started like reading books about time management, but like over and over again, the same thing started happening. And what would happen is we'd sit down on like a Sunday and we would spend like 3 hours or 5 hours planning out fastidiously what the week is going to look like and when we're going to do what and how we're going to do this. And it's like, we know exactly what we're supposed to be doing. But then Monday rolls around and my alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and I'm like, meh, snooze, because I can't do it. Like, and what I like, and this was happening for literally like a year, Where it was like, and they had some good phases in here where it was like, okay, I was doing it, you know, like things were going right. But inevitably, something would go wrong. Like we'd have to like take a car in to get fixed out of nowhere, or I'd hit my snooze button until 9 a.m. and it would throw everything into chaos, right? And then like things would start dominoing, and it's like, well, I didn't have enough time for this because of that, and I didn't do this, and so at the end of the day, you're just like sitting back and you're going, ugh, like I'm such an idiot, I can't do this, like I'm just not cut out to be an entrepreneur, and that's like totally false. But I had this moment where it, like, I was looking at my calendar and I was like, I can't control this. Like there is inevitably going to be either I'm going to decide not to do something because I'm lazy, or I'm going to, it's like my car's going to break down and something's going to happen, and like things are just going to be thrown into chaos. And I was like, I can't manage my time. And then it clicked and I was like, but I can manage my decisions.
Yeah.
And that was a game-changing moment for me, where I was like, oh my goodness, it's not about time management. It's not about necessarily systems. It's about psychology. It's about me and my head and who I think that I am. And like not playing a zero-sum game where if like one thing doesn't happen, that everything else has to blow up, right? Like that's not reality. And so the way that we start producing predictable results is by creating a predictable identity that acts in specific ways. So the real core of what I like do with these clients and what business owners really need to learn is that it's less about, again, it's less about a schedule and it's more about who are you?
Yeah.
Are you the type of man that when his alarm goes off, he gets out of bed in 10 minutes? Like, are you that person? And if we can create a resolve around that and start to understand, like, okay, what were the stories that you told before that led to you not being capable or like not choosing to get out of bed, right? Like there was a lot of stories that I was telling myself about my routine. For some reason, I had like these bad scripts around mornings. And so when that happens, like what's the negotiations that happen within you? And who are you, right? And there's this like aspirational identity that like starts developing, and starting to understand who you actually are becomes more crystallized. And so the game becomes about mastering your decisions. What's the next decision in place, and who are you? What decision does that kind of a man make? Are you going to make that decision? And like, are you going to choose to follow the shadow version of yourself, or are you going to choose to follow the light version of yourself? Yeah. Right? What are you going to get to? And like, and so because inevitably, like again, like something's going to happen. Like maybe today you choose not to get out of bed. Like what's going to happen? Are you going to allow that one decision to affect all the other 90 decisions that you're making today? Right?
Exactly.
And far too many entrepreneurs are playing a zero-sum game where they're like, well, screw it. I didn't get out of bed in the morning. I guess I'm just going to have ice cream for breakfast because it's over, right? And it's like, that's not how life is. That's not the reality. But we start negotiating that way. Well, the false versions of ourselves start negotiating that way, which is why we start falling into these traps. So the predictability comes from your identity. Are you the type of person that can produce a predictable income in your business? Yes or no? Are you?
Yeah.
And that's the decisions that you have to make. It's not, a lot of us think that our identity is something that's handed to us. It's like genetics, which plays some part in it, right? But like, or it's our parents saying like, well, you're just the ugly kid that can't succeed in life, right? Like, that's like, some people are literally told that by their parents. It's like, you're never going to be successful. And so they tell themselves the decision that they've allowed somebody else to make for them is, I'm just the person that's not successful.
exactly.
right?
So, so it is all about all about like decision making more than what is the time management skill we
Yeah,
possess.
and the time management systems support the decision making.
Exactly.
They the time management systems allow you to make decisions into the future about what you're going to do. So right now in the present, you say, well, on the 26th of April, I'm holding a Time Masters event. That's the
Yeah.
decision that I made a couple months ago, right? So
Exactly.
I created that decision then, and it's going to be happening on the 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, right?
So
I
yeah.
that's in the calendar. And then I started reverse engineering. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, I need to start letting people know that a Time Masters event is happening. So I better get on a podcast with Sagar, right? So all the decisions start rippling back, right? And so we time travel into the future. We say, okay, what's happening? Okay, well then that's going to start dictating a lot of these decisions into the present, right? So when I was planning that, it was like, okay, well I know that tomorrow I need to do X so that April 26th, that decision that I made comes to fruition, right? So it's all about decision management, not necessarily like overly fastidious time management techniques that like we were taught, well, or not taught, right?
Yeah. Tell us something about your masters events, time masters event you are coming up with
Yeah.
listings. Yeah. What was
Yeah.
that? And
So April 26th is day one of the Time Masters event. We have some rad speakers, so people that they know how to master their time. We're going to be having Catherine Jones. I actually I work really closely with Catherine Jones and have in the past. She's someone who is more capable of accomplishing more in less amount of time than she knows how to expand time, like that graphic says there. She
yeah,
knows how to expand her time. She knows how to focus on decision making rather than the time management. So I thought for sure we have to like get her in there. Cody Jefferson is a master at cutting through the noise of life and getting clear about what specifically needs to be happening. Katie Richardson is a master of identity. She is a master of creating identity, and so she's going to help us understand specifically how to create real commitments, not just like hoping that things will happen. She's phenomenal and has changed so many people's lives, specifically around their identity. Josh Forty he he is ruthless in the way that he takes control of his life and his identity. He very much is going to be teaching us about and helping you understand how you literally cannot afford to not master your time and your decision making. And then I'll be putting a bow on all of it throughout that whole event. But we're going to be talking about predictable results and how to arrive at predictable results through mastering your decision making and time management. So that's going to be happening the 26th through the 30th. It's all about getting control of your life and your business. Instead of wasting 9 hours sitting in front of your computer hoping that something will happen, how to actually produce predictable results in your life and business and creating the life that you always said that you wanted and the identity that you always said that you wanted, actually arriving at that place.
that's awesome, guys. So, guys, if you wanted to learn from these top level entrepreneurs, these seven-figure entrepreneurs, so just go to this the www.timesmastergroup.com//event, and you can go here and just click this, and you will get one audit sheet, and that audit sheet will definitely help you to get clarity about what is your area where you are struggling with, and you can understand yourself better. So before the event, you will get the clarity. So download that sheet. Maybe you can take a print out and fill it up as per your schedules or whatever. You fill out
Yeah.
some questionnaire out there, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Sagar. That's like actually really important. When you like, if you choose to come to this event, that'll be a critical component of this. Even if you like don't, like that PDF is really, really powerful. It's an audit that helps you clearly understand what components, well, essentially, are your current time mastery, or rather not time mastery, time management techniques actually going to produce the results that you say that you want? And like
Yeah.
getting clear about that, like, okay, what am I actually doing? Is this actually going to produce what I say that I want to produce? And then we help you at the event actually like take the information that you've collected during that audit and start implementing new techniques to actually like get clear about, you know, like, well, to actually produce results in your life and get clear about what am I actually producing? What is my current trajectory in my life based off of my current actions, right?
Yeah,
And
so at least you will get to know about, yeah, about where you are currently and where you wanted to go. Like
yeah,
how, yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. So
exactly.
guys, yeah, this is the event. I'll also put down in the comment section in a few minutes. And thank you all. Thank you so much coming to our show and sharing such a golden nuggets about time management. I would say this is the biggest uh, skill that every entrepreneur should know that things, because apart from any technicality, any other skills, marketing, any
Mhm.
other any software skills, but if you master this time management skill, I think you can master your life. That is
Yep,
what I would say. Yeah. So tell us
absolutely.
just any last point, any last thing you wanted to share with our audience.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the biggest takeaways in working with these clients is that a lot of entrepreneurs think that they're idiots. They're like, I'm looking at my business and I know that it should be in a bigger, better place. Like I've spent hours and hours and days and months working on this. Like I must be an idiot because it's not producing what I say that I am capable of producing. But the thing is, you're not an idiot. You're just not predictable. And if you can become predictable, you start unlocking all of your capacity. You know what to do. You know how to do it. You're smart enough to make it happen, but you just have to freaking do it. And that's what decision mastery unlocks for you. It unlocks your life. It unlocks your business because you're predictably producing what you say that you're going to do. And even
Exactly.
like aside from the results, like let's just put those to rest for a second. Aside from the money and the all that, the emotions that you experience when you do what you say you're going to do is unparalleled.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that true happiness comes from integrity. True joy, what entrepreneurs are actually seeking is integrity. I know that when I say I'm going to do something, it will happen. And
Exactly.
the next step beyond that is I know that when I do what I say I'm going to do, the results that I want will come into the world. I can create what I want to create. Like that is the game. That's the real game, is having the integrity and joy and peace and confidence that comes from having integrity. Like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
that's why I love what I do so much, because I'm able to help people do and be what they say they want to do and be. Like that's dope. And that's what Time Mastery Event is all about. It's about helping you move to a place of integrity. And from a place of integrity, you can produce almost anything you want.
Awesome. Yeah. That's a completely golden nuggets, and you shared, guys. So thank you all of you guys joining live, and thank you once again, Paul, that coming when joining with us. And I hope we will see in the futures, and all the people can join the Masters event, and definitely they can learn from the top levels entrepreneurs how they manage their times and how they control their businesses. So let's get and thank you all. Uh, till then, bye.
Yeah, thank you everyone.